came together and how you're feeling after you.
Yeah, yeah, I feel amazing. Obviously, this is definitely a God thing. Um, like I said, I'm always gonna give him thanks and whatever goes on. I think just this whole thing, this whole process has been, I feel like, a lot taxing, even for me and my wife, even the kids. They've been growing up. I think it's taxing for them, but um, this is definitely God. I think His sovereignty and His faithfulness in all of this has made me even appreciate Him even more. It's been so fun going through this whole year, going through this process, thinking about just this past year and staying with the Saints, looking at other aspects of where to go. But this is home for us. Yeah, I think we've had our greatest challenges here. We've had our biggest disappointments here, raised our kids. New Orleans has shown us how to grow up. We were little kids. I feel like coming here at 23 years old, 24 years old, and now we're 28, 29, and New Orleans accept us with open arms. I feel like I think it was only right, to come back and kind of finish something that we started. So I'm really, really appreciative of being here. Thinking, that the front office, thinking the head coach is entrusting in me and bringing me back, and so ready to get to work and do more of what we planned to do when I first got here in 2020.
Do you take any time within that reflection to reflect upon just like you're a wide receiver, you switch, and now you're in the second contract
Yeah,
because of that, and
yeah,
how that's working out?
yeah. Um, it's so crazy. Like me and my wife was talking about this the other day. We don't like to think of everything as money, but just me as a rookie coming in signing a $10,000 signing bonus. I bet those guys upstairs didn't think that they were going to sign a guy for 20 mil a year, and it just shows more of what I trusted in God and Him, like having me to be fruitful with little, so I can be fruitful with much. And as you know, faith with works is alive, and so that's the one thing that we live by in our family is faith with works is alive. And so, yeah, man. I mean, just looking at everything and starting as a receiver, moved to tight end, like everybody's just like eye open, like, well, you started as a receiver, like in the league, and then you moved to tight end, like, yeah. But I just wanted to play, and I love football, and that's all we care about around here is we just love football. I see those guys over there in jerseys. I bet y'all just love football too, and you don't care what position you at. I don't care where I was in the NFL. I just wanted to play football. I wanted to make a living for myself, and I just wanted to, glorify God with the talents that I had. So that's all I wanted to do, and I didn't care if I was tight end. I didn't care if I was defensive end, but I just wanted to play football and do what I could to just stay in the league.
Kind of going off that. I mean, coming in the league undrafted and working your way to earning more playing time than earning this second contract. I mean, when you kind of look at your journey and reflect on that, I mean, just how kind of grateful are you for everything, how it panned out here?
Yeah, I'm so grateful, um, and a lot of that I credit to my wife. She's been through me through a whole lot, and especially through the years, but definitely this past year. Um, and she could tell you. I mean, breaking my foot before the season, like I was in a very like I was in a dark place because it's just like, man, like I'm really trying to have an impact in the team, and I feel like we have something good going. And for me, I carry a lot of the weight on what the city has, and so I was like, man, I don't even want to let the city down. I don't let my teammates down. I don't let the front office down because, I mean, we got high expectations, and so um, yeah, man. I mean, just looking back at everything, it's just like I really want to, affect this team in a way, but I really want to affect this community in a way. So, just looking back at everything, like you said, um, I'm just extremely grateful of where I'm at and where I'm going to go. And I feel like this just doesn't stop. Like I don't want this to. I feel like me being 28. I feel like people put a limit on me and say like, oh, this guy's old, in a way, to be like, oh, I don't think he's, is going to make it to 4 more years, 5 more years, but I mean, if you trust God, I mean, I could play for another, 6, 7 more years, and I think I'm not going to put a limit on myself, and I don't think anybody else should. So, yeah, this is a 3-year contract, but I want to be staying in New Orleans for a lot longer than that. So, I think for me, I'm extremely grateful, and I don't want this to be just a 3-year thing.
Have you studied this new offense at all?
Yeah,
Based on some of the key points that stand out to you about it.
yeah. Well, you can ask my wife if I studied. Um, she got mad at me yesterday or 2 days ago, what have you. She was like, "Well, what are you doing?" I was like, "Well, I'm watching watching film, trying to find out what's going on." And I was like, are you upset? She was like, well, yeah, because you're spending family time. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, what's happening. I mean, we have a season coming up, and, I really want to be prepared for what's happening and what we got going on. So, Kellen's done a great job, especially with his offense in the past years. I mean, he's been with the Chargers, Dallas, and obviously just won a Super Bowl with Philly. And so, just seeing what he's done, I just have to see, like, how players are going to be used, how the team is going to be used, and how in the direction that we're going. And so that's why I really want to just take a deep dive in and really focus on, like, what's going to happen. And so I'm extremely intrigued. I'm excited to see what's to come. I mean, explosive offense, as everybody knows. But that also obviously comes as, us playing as a team. And so I'm excited. I'm see how all it comes together, how he is as a head coach, how guys rally around him. I think that's the biggest thing.
Were those conversations with him important? I mean, obviously New Orleans was going to be hard to beat in
Yeah.
the free agency journey, but did you want to make sure this was the right offense?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I didn't look at anything until he was announced as head coach. And, short story, I mean, I called Clint. I mean, not Clint. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes. Don't tell Clint that. Or Kellen. It's just the K's, man. But Kellen, I called Kellen. Man, it was like 11, 12 o'clock at night. And I was just like, man, like, what's the deal? Like, are you guys, what is it? Like, why do you guys want me, really? And so, yeah, he just told me, like, we got on the phone, man, and we talked it out. And really on, like, what the plan is, what his vision is for the team. And because I was up at night, I told Shane, I was like, Shane, I got to call this dude. Like, I was like, I can't sleep. Because we were deciding between teams. Like, I'm deciding, like, where to put my family for the next 3 years, 3 or so years. And so I really had to just, like, understand where we wanted to go. Because something in my heart was telling me, man, I got to stay in New Orleans. But if I stay in New Orleans, it got to make sense. I got to make a wise decision.
What did he say that, like, convinced you?
Yeah. It's not even really more so what he said. I just think it's more of the heart posture towards it. And I think that he wasn't trying to sell me a dream. Man. I don't want dreams to sell because at the end of the day, like we're trying to win something. And so I just think us just having a candid conversation was the biggest thing. And yeah, to be honest, I mean obviously Sean was trying to get me from the Broncos and the Seahawks and a couple other teams. And I think those were teams that were very familiar with me, and it was very intriguing. But I felt like this was the place to be for me and the family.
I know you don't want to give away too many secrets on what his vision
Mm-hmm.
is in the offense, but I mean, in general, obviously, with the we always ask how much of it is receiving, how much
Yeah.
is blocking,
Yeah.
how instrumental is the position itself
Yeah.
in his offense. What are some
Yeah.
highlights?
Well, the one thing I want to do for myself as a player is to not limit myself to just being a receiver. And I know I was a receiver, my first year, and making the transition my second year. The one thing I want to do is just not limit myself and be able to, get taken off the field whenever a blocking situation comes up. And I felt like I proved myself this year in the way, that I block. And so what I'm going to do is just keep putting on film that I can block and be a dominant blocker. I'm doing stuff in, training right now just to work on my blocking, so I'm not, just limited to, oh, he's just a pass catcher. No, I want to be a well-rounded tight end, and I want to get the respect of that I'm not just a guy who's just made the transition to receiver to tight end, and now he's just receiving and going against linebackers and safeties.
How do you think that stretch at the end of last season when Chris and Rashid are both out and someone needed to step up and
Yeah.
like you did that way?
Yeah.
What did you learn? What did you take from that experience and having to apply it going forward?
To be totally honest with you, it makes me happy, but it also makes me upset because I don't want to just be, a guy that's used when guys are down. And to be completely honest with you and frank with you, I feel like my inconsistencies have been when, at the end of the year he's come on really late, and beginning of the year is like not there. Like I think that's the one thing I'm gonna work on this season is putting a complete season together where from start to finish, like nobody can tell, he's came on late or he's came on early, he's kind of fizzled off. Like I think that's why these guys at Mickey brought me back because they seen what I can do on 5800 Airline Drive, and they want to see that in the Superdome because they've seen it all the time here, but sometimes it just doesn't show up, on Sunday. And so I think the biggest thing is just having a complete season wherever may have happened through the time, but I think the complete season is something that I'm trying to work on.
Do you remember at what point in the process the Saints showed that they were really interested in re-signing you?
Yeah.
Was that something that started before they hired Kellen, or
Honestly, I didn't hear anything. I mean, I'm gonna talk to him, but I was actually kind of upset. I was like, man, all these guys gonna like resign, and they didn't reach out to me. But I feel like right before free agency started, they gave me an offer, and I think that kind of like warmed my heart, because in the beginning I was like, man, like, all right, maybe these guys don't want me, maybe they're moving on, or whatever the case may be, and I was fine with that. But I think it was just more so like, okay, maybe this is something that they're moving past, and so, when they reached out and we had a conversation. Yeah, they just expressed that they do want me, they do value me, they do value me as a player, as a person, and so that right there spoke a lot of value because it wasn't just one person; it was a lot of people that reached out in a matter of a week, just expressing how much. And I think they were more so trying to be respectful because they know like I had a market too, and I had to explore that. But I think ultimately me just coming back, just letting them know that yeah, if I explored this, but this is where I want to be.
When was your call with Kellen? Like what day do you remember?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't know. I mean, I can go to my call up. I have I have no idea, but yeah.
Had you spoken to him before that moment?
Not really. Yes, it was a brief call, like saying, yeah, this is Kellen, just hollering at you, like, just got the job. We were really interested in having you back, and that was really it. From that time, like it was like a 1 minute call, but when I called him expressing like, what the deal was like weeks later. So, um, yeah, that's all I really have right now. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have bad memory. I'm sorry about that.
I'm gonna ask you one more memory question.
Okay.
Do you remember how long the phone call was, the one you made to him at 11:12?
Oh man, it was like 15, 20 minutes. Like I really just had to dive deep in because it was a life decision. I mean, because this is something that, like I said before, with the family, and I really got to take care of them. So is this something where I'm gonna have to stay here, where we really want to be, or we gotta go somewhere else, and we got to figure those logistics out.
I don't know the expectations, so forgive me if this is a little like obvious of
Hmm.
but when it comes to picking up the phone and calling him at 11, 12 o'clock at night, how much did it mean to you just that answer?
Sure, it meant a lot, and I feel like that's gonna go to your point. Like it's not really much of what he said; it's like the actions, because people can say a lot of things, and just like I'm gonna go on later about just about the team success. Like it's not about what we say; it's about what we do. Like people are tired of like, oh, we're the Saints, we're gonna do this. Like, no, we got to do it at this point. But I think him answering that call that late at night, I mean, he got a wife, he got kids. Like he probably don't want to be up, but him just answering my call, it really meant a lot to me.
How much of that conversation revolved around Derek, and what do you think this offense's kind of potential is with Derek at the helm?
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah. We didn't talk about Derek much because it's not. I mean, honestly, it was about just me and him, and it was really about. It wasn't anything about a lot of schematics or anything like that. I really just want to know him. But I mean, yeah, we talked football. We talked football, but I think the biggest thing was just trying to figure out what his plan and what his vision was. If I'm going to be here for 3 years, I want to know what that is. And so, yeah, it was huge. And as far as Derek, I mean, Derek's our QB, and so, I understand like he's getting a lot of backlash right now for we all know the obvious reasons, but he's our quarterback, and so we stand behind him. That's the things that we do as a team, and I feel like that's moving forward. Us as a community, us as a team, us as an organization, like we got to stand behind him because that's the guy that's leading us.
How close did you come to leaving? Like, was there a moment in this process where you thought you were headed to Denver?
There was a lot of back and forth. I'll tell you that, and that's what I'm saying. Like it was just so like exhausting and so draining. Because there were a lot of ups and downs, and I mean, as you guys know, in free agency, like a team can come up just like that, and then another team. It's just like it's so much up and down through the whole process, and so as you know, like everybody's expendable. Like anybody can go this place or anybody can go that place. You just always have to be ready. But I feel like the biggest thing is just knowing that wherever I go, like someone's going to get all of me. Somebody's going to have a great family. Someone's going to try to affect the community in a big way, and same with the team.
Obviously, you're coming off a year where you had most catches and most yards in a season. Do you think that's kind of indicative of the fact that your best football is to come, and how much momentum do you think you have heading into these next couple of years?
Yeah. Like I said before, I feel like I've always came on late, and that's something that's always frustrated me throughout my career. I just want to have a complete season, and I feel like there's still so much left on the plate for me. And I feel like the front office sees that. I feel like my teammates see that, and I feel like they always come to me like, why are they not using you? I'm like, look, it's all about the long game, and I feel like I'm poised for a big year at some point, and whether that be this year, I'm super excited, and you guys won't be no stranger to it because you guys seen it too on the practice field, and you guys seen that. But at the end of the day, like there's going to be a time where it's going to click, and it's going to get scary. And so I'm not trying to say that to be like, oh, here he is saying something. Like the action has to follow it. So, I mean, I know what I can do, and everybody around you know I can do in this building. So we're going to see.
If that call goes unanswered or goes differently, are you in Denver?
We don't know. I mean, that's the thing at the end of the day. Like, we never know what could happen, but I'm just glad it worked out this way. I mean, like I said, things always change. Like, it was changing literally daily. Like, we were seeing, like every day, like, what is going to happen today? Because things happen daily. And this was several teams, not the teams I even mentioned. Like, these are with different teams. Like, different teams just popped up, out of nowhere. And, like, oh, well, we can go this place. Oh, we can go this place. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like, this is something like our heart was like, man, like New Orleans is it. Like, I don't know why, like, we're looking different places and looking like this is where we're supposed to be.
I know you said that you didn't know what the call was, but do you know if you already had that offer that the Saints made free agency?
Yeah, the call was on the table at that point, and so that was like a couple days before that we had that offer, and so just pondering on that, thinking about it, and then going to my wife about it, just like what do we think about it, and so just sleeping on that and knowing that I couldn't sleep, so I just reached out to him and we had a conversation. It was great.
Well, why was staying in New Orleans important? Just I mean, especially considering some of the down years you guys have
Yeah.
recently missing the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
Why just want to stay here?
Yeah, because having like the saying, the grass is never greener on the other side, but sometimes the grass doesn't mean that you have to leave. Sometimes the grass means that you need to turn the page or have a different attitude about something, and that's something that I'm a firm believer in. I give you a short story. I remember when I was in the transfer portal at Penn State and going to Oregon, something about me was just like I'm so grateful that I went to Oregon, but there's something about me was just like, man, like I felt like I should stay. And I said, when I get this opportunity again, like I'm going to stay. And so opportunity comes up again where I have a decision between leaving New Orleans Saints or going somewhere else. And it was like literally the last couple of days of before I signed with the Saints, and it was just like my heart was telling me, man, you had to stay. Like something is telling me to stay, and it gave me a peace. Like I didn't feel like I was rushed. I didn't feel like anxiety. I felt a lot of peace when I was told to stay. So that was the biggest thing for me. Like I need to stay because I want to finish something that I started with this team.
How much did the initial offer kind of reflect what the final deal was?
It's like a lot. I feel like, I guess to give you a little insight, a lot of times teams give you low balls, and the Saints didn't do that. And I was like, wow, like, okay, these guys really like me and really respect me. That too kind of changed, how I felt about the whole situation, because at first nobody reached out, and I was like, man, you see this guy getting re-signed, you see this guy getting re-signed, like Saints, like why y'all not hitting me up? And they did, and initial offer was great. Obviously, we still had to explore other options, and that's when conversations started to happen. So, yeah, I mean, the first initial offer, that's something that speaks a lot of values to how they think about me.
Lighter note, what did you kind of make of the memes going around with severance?
Thank you, because I'm not gonna lie, you was giving out those freaking calls. I was like, dang, like we gonna stop being so serious, bro. Jeez, wait, dang. I thought it was funny because me and my wife, we watched Severance all day. Like it was hilarious. And I was like, bro, first of all, they was fishing because I haven't had a mustache, just a mustache, in like 2 years. So they was searching for that photo. But I thought it was hilarious. I thought the '80s dad was like really funny. And I even asked her, I was like, should I like get my mustache back? But that's to be determined. I think I might do something next time y'all see me at OTAs. I might have a stash, so we'll see. But yeah, Mr. Milchick, I hope he hollers at me one day. We get take a photo together and with both our stashes. So yeah.
Do the milkshake dance.
Oh heck no, I don't know. We definitely not doing that. Mr. Milchick is so serious. Like I want you to just like chill out a little bit.
He went to Xavier.
He went to Xavier. Look at that guy. Can we invite him to a New Orleans Saints game? Can we get that? Tweet it out or X'd out or however y'all call it. Tweet it out. Yeah, tweet.
How many reps or plays do you feel like you added this season to your playlist? Was it the I'm Him playlist?
Ooh. Oh yeah. Man, you got good memory. I'm not that good at memory, but a couple more, a lot more actually. Like I said, it's all compacted into like, practice clips, game clips, things like that. And I just looked at it recently, and it also reminds me. I want to talk to young guys right here because like what he's talking about is that I have a photo album of all the good plays that I made like as a receiver or as a tight end, and so whenever I feel like discouraged, I just go back to those things, and I like play those things over to remind myself of, like, this is who I am. And so yeah, like I've added to that thing right there, and it honestly gives me a lot of confidence. It reminds me of who I am, and it honestly makes you feel good. And so, but yeah.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all.